Good morning, folks, and here's a wonderful other story from Ash Parrish from Kotaku.com. If you don't know Ash Parrish, you don't want to. But anyway, she has a little blog post from Thursday, I assume that's last week, about the Xbox Series X having so many horrifying holes. Now, you might think, oh my goodness, there's something wrong with the hardware, the software, the way the connectors work, the controller, etc. This interferes with their gaming. It's like, no. It's not that. It's that there's holes, like literal holes on the top of the box. Now you might think, okay, that makes I could see the problem. This is a design choice. Some people like choices of other designs, like they'd rather buy an iPhone as opposed to a Samsung or whatever. Maybe some dust can get in there. The fans don't blow properly. I don't know how dust accumulates on hardware exactly. That might be a good study. So, okay, yeah, sure. However, the problem is not the design in terms of efficiency or how it works or even how it looks. It's just she has a fear of holes. This is apparently a very real fear called Tripophobia. Okay, so fine. You have a fear of holes. I am a tripophobe, and I cannot own an Xbox Series X because of its damn holes, which is, okay, you don't like certain things. But this to me is an irrational fear that you could easily get over as let's say different than like the fear of heights, where you actually have the opportunity to die. Or poisonous spiders. Some spiders are poisonous. There's nothing wrong with fearing that. But holes as a thing is a very irrational fear. So you should be easy. It should be rather easy to conquer that, let alone a new game console, which is there to bring you joy. So I would say this is an opportunity for her to actually try an Xbox, play an Xbox, and go, hey, I like Halo whatever on the new Xbox. These holes aren't so bad. That's usually how fears get overcome. You experience the thing, and you do it, and you go, oh, it's not that big a deal. I'm being irrational. My body is reacting however it should not react. So Tripophobia is not included in the DSM of mental disorders. It's like, it better darn well not be. So it's not an officially recognized mental disorder. So wait a second. Are you trying to accuse yourself of being mentally retarded or having a mental condition when it's just a phobia? There's reasons why. Because it's irrational. It doesn't affect a large part of the population. This is not a huge deal in general. And for someone who's as outspoken as you'd think you'd have more sensitive and understanding ideas of what it means to accept media or imagery. Very strange thing. It's estimated that 60% of people suffer from it. I highly doubt that. Any uniform arrangement of small holes or spaces. So I guess like styrofoam, I don't know, includes revulsion in me, accompanied with a slight flight response. If you're constantly feeling all of these emotions, eventually you'll conquer them because they're so repetitive. Your body goes, oh, it's holes again. Oh no. And then you keep experiencing the holes wherever they are in the world, and it goes away. You grow out of it. This is something maybe a child might have when they see something that's unnatural to them. They go, oh, what's that? And then they get better. Common triggers for me are usually organic. Okay, so organic holes, but also man-made holes, such as certain manhole covers. All right, those lotus pods that can come with Korean barbecue. Oh, that's interesting, because usually when you have food, you're like, I try the food, and it's usually a negative reaction, like a very negative reaction to food, so food poisoning or a bad taste. There's a certain flavor you don't like. You put the food in your mouth and blah, your body goes, okay, this is a classical conditioning to a negative experience, and I'm going to have a nervous reaction whenever I see the same thing. That makes sense. Okay, you've reacted to a negative stimuli. Okay. Or dried in potpourri. So lotus pods, I don't know if you guys have actually eaten lotus pods. They're really not in a script. You have to put them in something sweet, or you have to char them or make them have a nutty flavor because there's not much to them. Other than that, they're perfectly fine food. Pine cones. Pine cones. I'm trying to think of pine cones. Maybe like a young pine cone where it's not grown and sprouted yet. Sunflower heads. A flower. She's scared of a flower. Gauze or bandages. I don't even... what? Bandages? How do you get afraid of bandages? Any liquid mixture that bubbles... Wait. Any liquid mixture that bubbles. So like carbonated soft drinks? Like cooking pancakes or blooming yeast. I guess you don't do a lot of cooking then, or baking. Or anything, if you're scared of holes. This map of election results. Okay. Here's a map of election results. It's animated. And we see all these big red parts of the country. And then all of a sudden it turns to little dots of red and blue. This is freaking you out? How the hell did you get a job as a blogger on Kotaku? Or is that the pointing out of your political bias? Is that kind of the point? And the Grates on the top of Xbox Series X. Okay, so let's look at Tripophobia. She mentioned one thing, lotus seed pods. And it does look like this is a very alien looking thing. It's like, whoa, that's kind of gross. But once you actually touch the thing, once you pop the thing in your mouth, once you taste it, you go, oh, that's what it is. It's not a big deal. Okay, so honeycombs. Now, these are foods so far. And foods are easily overcome because you have this wonderful thing called a mouth with a tongue and teeth. And you can crush things. And you go, oh, that's not scaring me anymore. I'm stronger than a lotus seed. So honeycomb is a beautiful looking thing. It's gorgeous gold and yellow and orange and amber. It's a delicious tasting thing. It's super sweet. Maybe she doesn't like the idea that there are honeybees buzzing around. I don't know. But what a wonderful flavor and association with color when you think of honey. It's a very healthy thing. It has natural antioxidants, has natural antibacterial properties. This is all good stuff, aside from the sugar component, which is super sweet. So if you don't have a sweet tooth or even like sugar, you're going to hate this stuff. But it shouldn't cause you fear. You might be scared of honey bees if you ever got stung, but we're talking about a fear in general, so that doesn't make sense. Strawberries. Delicious fruit. Super sweet, super wonderful. Make smoothies, put it in dessert. You have strawberry cheesecake, all sorts of wonderful things. Yes, the seeds are outside the fruit. One of the very few fruits that have that sort of arrangement of their seeds. But what a beautiful tasting thing. This is just ripe for making good memories with your fear, to overcome your fear by eating a little box of strawberries. That should overcome your fear. Coral. Now, coral is interesting because there's all different sizes and shapes. There's anything under the sea is kind of creepy in general. That's kind of creepy. I mean, look at that. That's weird. It looks like a brain. But itself is not inherently, I mean, you're not going to encounter this stuff. You might see it in a museum or, I don't know, jewelry or something. But I can give it that much. Corals is an underwater thing. So most terrestrial animals see the ocean as kind of creepy. But look at the colors. Look at the beautiful colors. Look at it's a rainbow of coral and life and beauty. What a strange thing. Aluminum metal foam. And this one I actually know. This is actually really cool looking. You see the metal foam there. I've seen actually designs of not office buildings, but the foyer of an office. There'll be like this giant wall art. It'll be hanging like that. It looks really cool. Huge views of this weird looking structure. I don't get the fear of that. Is it something mechanical, industrial? I don't know. That looks like a bunch of noise. I don't know how you get scared of noise. That's very cool. Like these are all easily overcome things that all you got to do is go to the modern art section of an art gallery and just walk around and have a good time having your mind play tricks with you. It's fun stuff. Pomegranates. Now, not everyone likes pomegranates. They're kind of weird looking. They got seeds, which are really crunchy. They got the actual, berries in them as well. Good stuff on all sorts of dishes. You can make turkey and have pomegranate sauce or pomegranate jam or what have you. It's not everyone's flavor. You can make a juice out of it. But once you have that experience, it's like, ooh, powerful fruit flavor, antioxidants, all sorts of other wonderful things. Your brain goes, yeah, this is a good thing. It's okay. It's just a fruit. It's not going to kill you. Now, again, if she has some sort of aversion to sugar or fruit or allergy, that is a natural reaction in your body. We go, okay, do not eat this. This is a bad thing. And your brain reacts properly. That's a healthy reaction if you do, in fact, have an allergy. But that's very rare. Now we're getting into the weirder things like bubbles, which she does have a fear of, apparently. I don't understand how dried liquid mixture that bubbles like cooking pancakes or blooming yeast, but bubbles in general, I highly doubt, when she was a kid, she took a bath and she got scared of bubbles or anything like that. But it's a very specific fear. So yeast bubbles, I don't know, maybe that's the thing. I don't get it. I really don't. You're in the kitchen. You must have seen someone bake something sometime, if not yourself. You look at your coffee in the morning, you put some cream, there's bubbles in there. It looks very similar. How can you be afraid of yeast or bubbles in liquids? I don't get it. How can you get through your life like this? You would overcome it very quickly. So I don't know if she's bullshitting or this is crazy. Condensation. I don't get it. It's water. This is like Anna O. I don't know if you guys know the story of Anna O with Sigmund Freud, but she was so scared of water she couldn't drink water. Okay? That's a serious problem. This is water off the sides of objects where it condenses and forms droplets. I don't... It's a pattern. How are you scared of these things? Cantaloupes. Interesting. Again, another food. Delicious dessert. Delicious fruit. You could make smoothies. You could put it next to cake or on cake or part of a cake or all kinds of wonderful desserts. Easily overcome simply by experiencing the thing you're trying to overcome. And I don't get why at her age, whatever age she has not overcome things like this. A cluster of eyes. Now that one's just weird. That's more of a, I don't know, something you might see in the story of Cthulhu or vampire stories. I've seen this all throughout anime and manga. I don't really get it. I don't know why the eyeball is feared. It's more or less the shape around the eye, because that's where we get our depiction of emotion. But if it's the idea of someone watching you, I don't get it. I don't know. Again, these are all irrational fears which can be overcome, which is why it's not a mental disorder. So I don't get why she wants it to be a mental disorder as well. I knew the Series X was going to be trouble the minute the design was revealed. The holes are just big and prominent enough to trigger a response. How do you leave your house? Any area which is small and has an indentation is a hole. Like a door is a hole to a room. Rooms are holes to a house. But because they're circular, like what's the problem here? The Series S is a bit better, but since the holes on its speaker are small enough to be obscured, okay, so small holes are okay? When viewed at a distance, but up close, it's still slightly unsettling, but the annoyance factor is more negligible. Okay. So again, this person has a personal problem with objects of indentations in a certain pattern in the series. So a pattern of holes. Not holes themselves, I guess. I don't know. Maybe if it was just a big hole. Like what if it was a grate? Like a metal grate like strips of long, thin, like a cage of aluminum or something. Like with that, like a grill. I don't know. Yeah, a grill. But imagine it was a grill. Would she be scared if it was a grill? Like a grid? Like a square grid? Would that, I mean, I don't get it. Is it the circles? The annoyance factor is my response to all these holes is not very strong, so I can continue to work at Kotaku without gagging every 5 minutes as our coverage of the cursed console. Okay, you gotta calm your shit there, lady. You're bashing a brand new piece of hardware because it has a certain design you don't like, because it causes you to react. Get over yourself. Face your damn fear. Stop whining. This is an entire blog post about you whining how weak you are. Do you think anyone gives a shit? I mean, it's funny. I'm laughing at you, but that's not what we want in journalism. We want intelligent, sensitive people who aren't a bunch of pansies when they look at holes. But the insidious thing about Tripophobia in video games is that it can manifest suddenly in a weird, innocuous place. My new desktop computer has a vent at the top. Oh, good Lord. And yet you bought it or someone gave it to you. In the first couple of days with it, I was okay, but seeing the holes in my periphery every time I sat at my desk was enough to make me cover the grate up with a sheet of paper. Now you're actually hiding the problem. You're running from the problem. See, this is a psychological problem with this person, and she made a blog post about it, of how dumb she is, how childish she is. I mean, this is a cry for help. Or you're just trying to fill up space on Kotaku.com for a horrible website that it is and employs someone like you. I get skeeved out in games. I get skeeved. Older games sometimes feature certain triggering textures in objects or in walls. Yeah, it's called bump mapping. It's like 20 years old. Probably 25. I can't remember when it was invented. It's used to create 3D looking surfaces on a 2D plane. That's all it's for. For more modern games, a recent example is Resident Evil 7. Negative spaces. You can't be scared of negative spaces. That's retarded. That look like holes can freak me out. Okay, honey, you're dead. You have no skills for survival. You walk outside, you'll just freak out and lay on the floor and cry in pain. And you should. You should cry in pain because you'll get over yourself really, really quickly. You know what you should be scared of? Getting hit by a goddamn car. Or getting shot. That is reason to fear because it happens so quickly you wouldn't have a fear response. But you should be afraid of those things. You should be careful of those things. Devorah from Mortal Kombat 11 is also a problem. She's one of my favorite new characters, but she has a move that unleashes bugs from her chest. And the holes, man, I can't do it. I'm not even going to bother to look at that because everything she said is irrational so far. Small holes don't. And of course, people say, "Oh, how dare you attack this woman for having a fear?" Bullshit. She's writing an article of how weak she is on a website about gaming, and she's bitching about the design of the Xbox because it has a vent on the top of it. What utter nonsense. Sure, deal with your problem, not on a public website. Go to a forum, go to a doctor. I don't care. This is ridiculous. And yes, I'm going to make fun of her. So I'm okay with things like speaker grates or the metal mesh of my Blue Yeti microphone. In fact, most electronics and their penchant for using small holes to vent heat doesn't bother me at all, except a mouse, and the Xbox Series X. So she doesn't like octagons or hexagons, rather. I would get a little pissed off with this mouse because it'll trap dirt very easily. What the hell does a mouse need a vent for? There's some engine in the mouse? Is there a GPU in there? Like what? I can enjoy similar strategies of the Series X if I did for my computer. I could try to hide it in my entertainment console. Standing this console vertically would also obscure the vent. If I absolutely had to have a Series X, I could make it work, but why should I suffer having a triggering object in my home when I could just own a whole free PS5 instead? Your move, Microsoft. Fuck off. Fuck off, Ash Parrish. You are so, oh my God, up your ass. You are so entitled. I'm sorry for swearing. I rarely swear. Your move, Microsoft. Get out of here. Kotaku staff writer, fan fiction novelist, unapologetically black. You are a goddamn waste of time. You are worthless. Wah, I have a fear of X. Wah. I mean, it makes me laugh and hate her at the same time. So, bravo, Ash Parrish. Your articles are absolute crap. You are a hack. Grow the fuck up. Thanks for listening, guys. Have yourself a great day.